This is ABC15 Mornings.
Another morning, another milestone to end the pandemic.
Less than 0.01% of people who were vaccinated so far have gotten a breakthrough infection.
More than half of U.S. adults are now fully vaccinated.
The odds are always against you.
It's a life-changing amount of money, and it's fun to think about.
An in-depth look at 3 reasons we keep playing the lottery.
Uplifting Arizona.
It's all about patience and having the eye.
Every picture tells a story, especially for a Valley teenager getting recognized for his talent.
How to deal with rejection the right way. 4 important tips posted on today's bulletin board.
And open is Payne, and even more open is Carter. Oh, he got it to go! And a foul!
It's now a best-of-5 series. The Suns now heading to Los Angeles for a pivotal Game 3.
It was a tough loss last night, but it does keep it exciting as we try to look at the glass half full around here. And we also know the game's going to come back to Phoenix. We'll be talking about capacity levels rising, and it's good news for people who want tickets. Hey, good morning to you. Thank you for hanging out with us right here for ABC 15 Mornings. Kaylee O'Kelly here in studio, trying to wake you up here on a gorgeous morning too, right alongside my friend Nick Saletti.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, a lot to still look forward to.
Yes.
All right, they're tied 1 apiece. It's okay. We can still wrap this up peacefully, everyone. Let's talk about that most accurate forecast this morning. Meteorologist Iris Emercio joining us right now with a quick look at what we can expect on this hump day.
Good morning. Well, we're waking up to a lot of clouds, and of course those clouds were an issue overnight because not everybody got a chance to see that total lunar eclipse, but they're certainly making for some beautiful views as we look outside with our South Mountain camera here this morning. Cloud cover all across the valley and across most of Arizona, and those clouds are sticking around, but what we're not getting is any rain, so nothing to slow you down as you head out the door. But temperatures are off to a milder start because of the clouds. We're down to 73 officially at Phoenix Sky Harbor, and I think that's as low as we're going to go this morning before we start to see that temperature climb. And our warm up similar to yesterday, in that we'll likely see the first 90s by 11 a.m. That'll put us at about 92 by lunchtime, and then today look for a high of 99 degrees in Phoenix with partly cloudy skies through the afternoon, but those clouds keeping us just shy of 100 today. Once they clear out, the triple digits are moving in. So we'll talk about how high those temperatures go as we head towards the holiday weekend in that full most accurate forecast.
Okay, Iris, thank you for that. A deadly shooting involving members of law enforcement overnight in the Queen Creek, Santan Valley area, all of it starting with a domestic violence call. Want to get you out to our Mark Thompson. He's been hustling at that scene for a few hours now, and you've been able to get more information every single time we come out to you. You're near Hunt Highway and Thompson Road. Pinal County deputies are talking. What are they telling you?
Yeah, good morning to you, Kaylee. And now that the sun has come up, you can get a better idea of where this all took place. A pretty quiet neighborhood. This is in Santan Valley on White Canyon Road, just south of Queen Creek. 1 person dead this morning. You can see it's still a very active scene as Pinal County Sheriff's deputies, they continue the investigation. Now, let me take you back to how this all unfolded. Pinal County Sheriff's deputies, they responded to a domestic dispute between a husband and wife around 1:45 this morning. They say that the husband became aggressive when they arrived on scene. This all taking place inside of the residence. And then the husband, he became, again, more aggressive and came at deputies with a weapon. Take a look.
When they arrived on scene, the husband was the aggressor, and he was aggressive towards our deputies and had a weapon in his hand, and our deputies were forced to use deadly force on that male subject.
And as you heard there, they have not said exactly what type of weapon that was, whether it was a knife or something else. Again, at least 1 deputy fired his gun. We're still working to learn how many gunshots were fired and the exact circumstances that actually led up to not only the domestic dispute, but that officer, that sheriff's deputy having to fire his weapon. We do know that this all took place inside of the residence, and they tell us that neither any deputies on scene or the wife, neither were harmed in this situation out here this morning. We're going to continue to gather more information, and we'll bring you an update as soon as we get more. Reporting live this morning, Mark Thompson, ABC 15 Arizona. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you very much for that. Just heartbreaking all around. It's 6:04 now In just hours, Lori and Chad Daybell will be appearing in court for the first time since they were indicted by a grand jury on murder charges for the deaths of Lori's two children, Tylee and JJ. The siblings reported missing back in 2019. At one point, Lori told police they were in the valley. Then months later, investigators found their remains on Chad Daybell's property in Idaho. The Daybells could face life in prison and possibly the death penalty.
It's 6:05 on a Wednesday. A new study suggests people who had a mild case of COVID could keep natural antibodies longer than previously thought. Researchers looked at 77 people who recovered from the virus. They say these antibodies moved to the bone marrow after the infection, and they continued producing cells targeting COVID in 15 of those participants. Researchers say there's no reason to believe that those cells will ever completely leave the body. A new report from the CDC shows that breakthrough infections are extremely rare in fully vaccinated people. Officials say the infection rate is 0.01%. They looked at 100 million fully vaccinated people. There were about 10,000 cases in this group, and most had mild or no symptoms at all. The city of Flagstaff is now the latest to update its mask policy. The mayor rescinding the face covering proclamation. Masks still have to be worn, though, on public transportation.
Well, the NFL is also rolling back its restrictions. The league announcing fans will be allowed to attend training camp this year. So far, 28 teams will fill their stadiums to capacity this season. Only the Broncos and the Colts are still working to get final approval. The Cardinals' home opener, by the way, will be here before we know it, September 19th. It's now 1-1 for the Suns and the Lakers, but last night's loss does mean we will get another home game Tuesday. Tickets, they're going to go on sale this morning, and the Suns say they're opening this thing up to 16,000 fans instead of the 11,000 we've seen at the first two home games for the playoffs. The team is now heading to Los Angeles for Game 3. That's tomorrow night at Staples Center. And here's our ABC15 sports team, Craig Fouey and Colin Harmon.
Craig Fouey, Colin Harmon here at Suns Arena, where the Suns lose to the Lakers 109-102 in Game 2. The series now tied at a game apiece. And Colin, this one from the get-go was a sloppy game for the Suns, and it all started with Jay Crowder getting in foul trouble early, and then things just kind of went downhill from there with Chris Paul really not being Chris Paul.
Yeah, hard to get into any kind of flow when you have that many whistles from the referees in this game on both sides of it. I mean, it was a hard basketball game to watch to start this thing out. And then just the amount of turnovers that the Phoenix Suns had in this game. They just weren't able to get going in the first quarter. They got crushed on the offensive boards by the LA Lakers. Andre Drummond asserted himself early in the game once again. And then, the biggest thing is now Chris Paul. And I think Suns fans went into this game expecting a lot more in terms of his shoulder being healthy.
Hoping. Yeah, right.
And an expectation to some degree that, okay, he was able to do that in Game 1 and come back, give him some rest. I think he's going to be all right for Game 2, and I think that was a real kind of slap in the face of some reality of, okay, we might not have Chris Paul, or at least can't rely on him going forward.
Exactly. After the game, Monty Williams and Jay Crowder talked about Chris Paul and his health and how they just had to pull him in this game.
You could see that his arm wasn't even running the way that he ran and dribbled the ball this morning. So we're hopeful that it'll get better over the next 48 hours.
Yeah, it's difficult, but we have enough to get the job done, especially here at our home court. We felt like we had enough, but it is tough. Can't even lie. It's not easier without him on the court, but we have enough. We just got to figure it out, make some adjustments, and come back for Game 3.
I kept looking for Devin to kind of pull this team together, put it on his shoulders, and he just never did. And it was like, yes, he got 31, but it wasn't that inspirational 31 that I expected from Devin. But to his credit, he got 31, and he was double-teamed most of the night.
And that's where we saw Cam Payne assert himself and get everybody going. And I think with Cam, Devin, and the rest of the guys, it was the defensive effort that really brought them back in this game. It brought the crowd back into the game. And I guess that's a positive in a sense moving forward, is that this Suns team is built on defense. And so you can survive even a loss of Chris Paul. You know, they'll get better minutes from Jay Crowder. Yeah. They'll get better minutes from Cam Johnson. Dario Saric was about as bad as you could be tonight.
It's awful,
and another positive is DeAndre Ayton had a really good game once again and outplayed some of the Lakers' big guys in the paint. So there are some things to build on, but Chris Paul's Chris Paul, and there's just no replacing him.
The good news, like you said, there are some positives to build on, and I think this team can still beat the Lakers in a 7-game series. It's just going to take a concerted collective effort from the team.
At the very least, Craig, I think tonight showed them that they can hang with the LA
Correct.
Lakers. And that's really important going forward.
Confidence.
When you lose home court advantage, now you got to go to the defending champs home.
Yeah.
You just got to steal one on the road and bring it back here.
Exactly.
And I think that group tonight can look at the box score and everything that happened tonight and said, we didn't have our best effort, we didn't have one of our best players, and we still had a chance to win the game late. That's something to build on going forward.
Again, Suns lose 109-102. The series now tied at a game apiece, and Game 3 is in Los Angeles Thursday night at 7 o'clock. From Suns Arena, Craig Fouhy and Colin Harmon, that's a look at sports.
All right, Fouhy and Harmon, thank you, boys. Next on ABC15 Mornings, drugs flowing into our state. We speak with law enforcement agents about what they are seeing at the border. Plus, celebrating the strength to keep going. This morning, we highlight an important initiative at the Valley School called the Clothesline Project. It's 6:13. Governor Doug Ducey has linked immigration to drug trafficking while visiting the border in March. But ABC15 investigator Liliana Soto found out that claim doesn't tell the whole story. She broke this story last night at 10 o'clock. This morning, she gets us up to speed on tonight's part 2 of this story.
We have been looking into the number of American teens getting recruited by drug smugglers since 2019. Now, local and federal law enforcement agents in Nogales say since the COVID-19 pandemic started, Americans from all ages are leading the drug trade at the ports of entry, where most of the hard drugs are coming in.
Since COVID began, it's pretty much probably 90% U.S. citizens and residents. And because those with tourist visas can't come in because of the current travel restrictions.
That's Michael Humphreys, port director in Nogales, Arizona.
Last year we seized over 3 million fentanyl pills. This fiscal year that we're into, we're almost triple the amount of fentanyl that we've seized the same period last year.
Customs and Border Protection and Santa Cruz County Sheriff David Hathaway say the number of Americans bringing in drugs is a concerning border security issue.
It's mainly through the main gates. That's where most of it comes in. Some of it's concealed in commercial cargo. Sometimes they're, body carriers where people are carrying it on their body, sometimes in vehicles. But that is still, the bulk of it comes through the legal ports of entry. So, Border Patrol does catch some at the checkpoints or just while they're patrolling out in the rural areas, but most of it comes through the actual ports of entry.
Those are the same facts we brought up to Governor Ducey in March.
Drugs are not just coming from those smugglers from other countries. There are also U.S. citizens, a lot of them, and many of them are teenagers recruited here in our own state. So what are we doing to prevent that?
The first thing I would say is that you should get your facts straight on where this fentanyl and meth, amphetamines, and illegal cocaine is coming from.
The facts are coming from law enforcement at the border.
Most of the mules are now U.S. citizens because they can cross. And we see a lot of juveniles and elderly people, like elderly women, being recruited to avoid the suspicions.
Tonight at 10 p.m., we look into how drug cartels are recruiting Americans, and we go one-on-one with an American who was recruited by drug smugglers here in Arizona. Again, that's tonight at 10 on ABC 15 Arizona.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
Liliana, thank you. Right around 6:15 on your Wednesday. Good morning to you. I'm Megan Thompson, tracking your commute. And one alert to tell you about on the I-10 eastbound. This is near 83rd Avenue. We're definitely seeing some slowing in the area. Normal slowing for this time of the morning. Plus, now we have a crash. The best news about this, though, is it is off to the left. As you can see with those flashing lights, it does look like it involves a motorcycle and another vehicle. And you can see it on the maps how it's causing that backup there on near the 101. We also have a disabled vehicle. This is on the I-10 eastbound near 83rd Avenue. It doesn't look like it's impacting your flows too much. This is on the on-ramp. So if you're getting on at 35th Avenue, that's something that you're going to notice to the left-hand side of the roadway. On the I-10 eastbound from the Loop 303 to the mini stack with those incidents, you're still traveling just under 65 miles per hour. The 101, the 17, and the 51 looking good. And there's a look at the 60 westbound from the 202 to the 10. You're traveling above 65 miles per hour. Let's check in with meteorologist Iris Hermosillo for a look at that most accurate forecast. Good morning, Iris.
Hey, good morning to you, Megan. Well, I wanted to start off by showing you a time lapse of our clouds this morning because while they certainly hindered our opportunity to see the total lunar eclipse overnight, they've made for a gorgeous start here this morning. A little bit of color in the sky too, not a lot, but just enough. A gorgeous start here this morning. But we are looking at partly to mostly cloudy conditions out there. What you're not going to see is any rain. This is just some higher level moisture that's moving in the form of clouds across the valley and really across the state. Here's a view from the National Weather Service office in Flagstaff, their camera in Belmont, looking out toward the San Francisco peaks, and you can see all that cloud cover over the peaks as well. So we've got clouds across northern, eastern, and central Arizona, and these clouds are going to continue to stream in. Now, of course, as I mentioned, they kind of block the view of that total lunar eclipse overnight, but a few of you managing to get some breaks in those clouds. Michael Thompson sending in this photo to share at ABC15.com. He managed to catch that total lunar eclipse just at the tail end of it, and again with enough clearing in the clouds to see it. If you happen to capture any photos of it, make sure to send them our way. Share at ABC15.com. I'd love to see it from your perspective if you again manage to get a view with those clouds overnight. Now the clouds also making for a milder start this morning. Look at temperatures in comparison to 24 hours ago. I mean, we're talking about a 5 to 15 degree difference in many spots across our state, with spots like Flagstaff only down to 40 degrees, only in the upper 60s right now in Kingman, and check out Lake Havasu and Bullhead City. Because of the clouds, we're only in the 80s in those areas right now. In central Arizona, 70s, and that does include Phoenix at 73 degrees. We're also seeing those mid 70s in Goodyear, temperatures in the low 70s in Scottsdale. Otherwise, we've cooled to 68 in Chandler, 69 in Glendale, and Peoria also in the upper 60s this morning. Off to a mild start, and today heading back into the 90s. We'll keep those partly to mostly cloudy skies around through the day today, but again staying rain free with 90s setting in by 11 a.m. Our high today, 99 degrees in Phoenix. So at least the clouds will keep us just shy of 100 and close to the average high for this time of year too. 30-year average is 98. Again, those highs ending up at about 98 to 99 today. Triple digits for highs at Lake Havasu, but that's it. Otherwise 99 in Yuma, 86 today in Sedona, and Flagstaff tops out at 71. Then the clouds clear out this evening. Tonight will be a little cooler because we'll see mostly clear skies, a low of 71. Then tomorrow, the triple digits are back. Highs will reach the low hundreds Thursday, Friday, and every day through the holiday weekend. So that means this stretch of triple digits is going to be longer than the ones we've seen so far this year. Those overnight lows also milder, only cooling into the low to mid 70s each morning.
All right, Iris, it's the last day of school for so many kids. It's just kind of this precursor to moving into summertime fun. Thank you. 6:20 now, Uplifting Arizona, our initiative highlighting the good right here in our community. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Mountain Point High School is taking a unique approach to help students find and use their voices by visualizing the different struggles people might face, and they're doing this through t-shirts as we scroll through them here. From mental or physical abuse, depression, anxiety, bullying, discrimination, and substance abuse issues. Kesha Clark, a youth specialist at Mountain Point, introduced the program. Listen.
Students are visual, like they need to see it in order to get it. Students, their first question is this free? And I said, yeah, it is. It's absolutely free. The only thing I need you to do, I said, the only caveat is you have to leave it with me because you have a voice. And I'd like other people, because you never know who you may, impact and encourage them to speak out. And once there was one kid at the table, before you knew it, there were so many kids at the table. We all have a voice and we need to be heard.
You've reading all these messages, hurting people hurt people, right? Gives you chills. So these t-shirts are on display throughout the school, helping these kids connect, even silently. And Kesha hopes other schools will consider something like this. But she also says, moms and dads, this is something that as families, we can all do.
Oh, looking for something fun to do with the family? Right now, kids 12 and under can get a free ticket to the Odyssey Aquarium. They just have to create an endangered species art piece out of recycled materials. All of the artwork submitted will be put on display in Odyssey's Kids Corner Gallery. The deadline to enter is June 8th. Head to Odyssey's website to download a submission form.
Your past is part of your future. Coming up on the bulletin board, rejection, it hurts, but it doesn't have to hold you back.
Plus, why do we spend money on an unlikely jackpot? Only on ABC 15 Mornings, we look at the psychology of why we play the lottery. 625, whether it's in your career, in a relationship, or meeting new people, we all experience rejection at some point, okay? But it doesn't have to be the end of the world. In fact, it can actually be the best thing that's ever happened to you. And that's what's on our bulletin board this morning. Author Jessica Bacall has 4 tips for us. First, she says it's always okay to ask questions when something's confusing you. Just ask for help. It's better to do that than, let's say, get fired from a job, right? Second, it's okay to try again. If you didn't get hired at that company or selected to be part of an organization the first time, apply again in the future. There's no harm in trying, right? Third, use rejection as data. Ask why you got rejected. Find out about what was positive on your resume and what maybe you could fine-tune that could lead to a better opportunity in the future. And finally, be willing to put yourself out there. The more you hear no, the more comfortable you get with rejection. All of these great tips to help you rebound. That's on our morning bulletin board.
Some great tips there, Nick. Thank you. Careers in healthcare and technology, they are up for grabs this morning. Goodwill is hosting another virtual job fair between 9:30 and 10:30. And some of the participating companies do include Dignity Health and Amazon. You can register at goodwillaz.org/job-fair. J.J. Watt is teaming up with the widow of Pat Tillman, all to honor his legacy. This is remarkable. Tomorrow, Reebok will release these special edition JJ 4 Valor shoes. Reebok is donating $10 of every pair sold to the Pat Tillman Foundation. Watt is donating all of his royalties. And when he joined the Cardinals back in March, he said he wanted to pay tribute to Tillman. And we say thank you very much for continuing to honor his legacy. Up next at 6:30 on ABC15 Mornings. Yeah, we love to spend money for a chance to dream. Did you know each year that Americans spend more than $70 billion playing the lottery? New this morning, the 3 reasons we keep going back every single week.
Plus, we're staying on top of breaking news this morning. A deputy involved shooting in the Far East Valley.